Okay, so let's look at a few tips for threading your needle. So obviously the thread or a yarn has some twist in it, so sometimes that tries to work against us. But if we take the tip of our thread that's coming off of our spool and send it through the needle, um, going that direction will actually kind of help reduce some of that tangling and twist as we sew, as opposed to cutting our length and then sending this side um, through the eye of the needle. So I'm going to thread that side through the eye of the needle, and then I'm going to hold the needle in my hand. And we don't want to go too long of a thread when we're hand sewing. The longer the thread is, the more it's going to tangle. So I'm going to hold the needle in, kind of just pinched in between my fingers, and then I'm going to bring my thread until it's about to the crook of my elbow. That's about as long as I want to go. And I typically work with a double strand of thread, so I'm going to allow that thread to be doubled and go about to the crook of my elbow, and then I'm going to trim off. So once I have my tails, if I'm working with a double strand of thread, I want to make sure that my tails are even. And then to tie my knot, usually you're going to need more than a single knot to stop the thread moving through your fabric. The looser the weave of your fabric, the thicker the knot you're going to need. The tighter the weave, the smaller of a knot you can get away with. But it can be challenging to get multiple knots right in the same place on a piece of thread. So I'm going to show you one way of getting a thicker knot, so that you're not trying to line up multiple knots right on the same part of the string. So if you take the needle in your right hand and the tails of your thread in your left hand, I'm going to kind of pinch my needle between my thumb and my middle finger and leave my index finger free, because I'm going to put my tail, my thread tail, right across the index finger of my right hand, and then I'm going to bring my needle down on top of it to create an X. And once I have that, I'm going to take with my left hand my tail, and I'm going to wrap it away from me, and I'm going to wrap it around the needle 4 or 5, maybe 6 times. Depends on how thick of a needle how thick of a knot I need. Once I've got that wrapped around, I'm going to pinch those wraps around my needle with my thumb and my forefinger, and then with my left hand, I'm going to pull my needle. I'm just going to slide it out, and I want to make sure that I'm continuing to pinch those little wrapped threads until it slides all the way down to the bottom of my thread, and I have a nice thick knot there. So those are just some tips and tricks on threading your needle and getting a nice thick knot at the end before you get started.